I am static in the room, a piece of old furniture draped in tartan wool, absorbing the noise of a life I am no longer invited to participate in. My head lolls to the right, resting against the worn leather wing of the recliner. My mouth is slightly open, a slack-jawed performance of senility I have perfected over the last 6 months. My breathing is shallow, rhythmic, a metronome taking away the seconds of my own irrelevance. To my son, David, and his wife, Sheila, I am not a person. I am an obstacle. I am a waiting room. I am a bank account with a pulse. I hear them. I hear everything. The air in the living room is heavy, stagnant, smelling of pepperoni and grease. They ordered takeout pizza again. I am not allowed to have any. "It's bad for your digestion, Dad," David had said, putting a bowl of lukewarm oatmeal in front of me an hour ago. My stomach is fine. My heart is what hurts. David is pacing. I can hear the heavy tread of his boots on the carpet, back and forth, a caged animal wearing a path in the floor. He is on the phone. His voice is a hushed, desperate hiss, but in the quiet room it carries like a shout. "I know, Tony, I know. 60, I have it. I just need..." A pause. David stops pacing. The silence stretches. "No," he whispers, panic bleeding into the syllable. "Don't come to the house. My dad is... Look, he's sick. It's complicated. Just give me until tomorrow morning." He hangs up. He throws the phone onto the sofa. It bounces with a soft thud. "They're going to break my leg, Sheila," he says. His voice is trembling. 60,000. Sheila sighs. It is a long, exasperated sound. The noise of a woman who is annoyed by her husband's incompetence, not his morality. I hear the tap, tap, tap of her fingernails on a screen. She is on the other end of the sofa, scrolling. "I found a place in Boca," she says, ignoring his terror. 4 bedrooms, pool. It's a foreclosure, David. We could flip it. David snaps. "Lower your voice," she hisses. "He's out," David scoffs. "Look at him. He's drooling. The stroke fried his brain, remember?" I keep my eyes closed. I focus on my breathing. In. Out. I am 85 years old. I am a retired forensic accountant. For 40 years, I tracked embezzlers for the DOJ. I dismantled Ponzi schemes that were smarter than David could ever hope to be. I saw patterns and numbers where other men saw chaos. My body failed me last year. The stroke took the strength from my left side.
It took the spring from my step, but it didn't touch the vault. My mind is still a steel trap. It records, it catalogs, it waits. "We need the transfer," David says. "Now." "Fine," Sheila says, closing her tablet cover with a magnetic snap. "But we need the RSA token, the digital key." Silence. They are looking at me. I can feel their gazes like physical weight. They are assessing the threat level of the old man in the chair. "He keeps the key on him," David says, "in his pocket." "Go get it," Sheila commands. I hear footsteps. David approaches. I smell the stale pizza on his breath. I smell the sweat of his fear. He doesn't whisper an apology. He doesn't hesitate. He reaches into the pocket of my cardigan. His hand fumbles, rough and intrusive. He fishes out my keyring. "Got it," he whispers. He walks away. He heads toward my study down the hall. I hear the beep of the keypad on the wall safe. Beep, 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 beep. It is a 4-digit code, 1982, the year he graduated high school. I haven't changed it because I wanted to see if he remembered. I wanted to see if he cared enough to know the milestones of his own life were the combination to mine. He opens the safe. I hear the metallic clank of the door. He returns to the living room. "I have the token," he says. "Okay," Sheila says. "Laptop is open." I hear them settle onto the sofa together. The cushions wheeze. They are bathed in the blue glow of the screen. They are robbing me in my own living room, 5 feet away from where I sit, assuming I am a vegetable. "Password," Sheila asks. Her fingers hover over the keys. "Dad's birthday," David says. David pauses. My breath hitches, just a tiny, involuntary spasm in my chest. "Martha, my wife, she died 10 years ago. She loved her roses. She loved that garden. And now they are using her memory as a skeleton key to pick the lock of my life." "Okay," Sheila mutters. "It's loading." "Jesus, David, look at the balance." "I told you," David says, greed replacing the fear in his voice. "Selfish old bastard," Sheila agrees. "Okay, transfer initiated. 60,000. "Yes." Clicking transfer, she says. Then comes the silence, the critical moment, the security protocol I insisted on 10 years ago when cybercrime started rising. 2-factor authentication, Sheila reads from the screen. "My cell phone is sitting on the coffee table. I left it there this afternoon." The screen lights up. Ping. The sound is loud in the quiet room.
David lunges for it. He grabs the phone. "Read it to me," Sheila says, her voice tight. David looks at the screen. He recites the numbers. 492018. I repeat the numbers in my mind. 492018. I visualize them. I see them written in red ink on a ledger line. I see the timestamp. I see the IP address of the laptop. I am not sleeping. I am recording. I sat there, listening to the clicks of the keyboard as they drained the account I built for my grandchildren's education, and I realized that the greatest thief isn't the stranger who breaks in at night with a crowbar. It's the son you held in your arms who waits for you to close your eyes. If you have ever felt invisible in your own home, if you know the pain of being underestimated by the people who owe you everything, listen closely. Because I didn't wake up. I didn't scream. I didn't grab my cane and thrash them. I waited. Hit that subscribe button. Because the numbers they just typed didn't just move money, they started a countdown to their own destruction, and the clock was ticking. "Processing," Sheila says. "Come on," David hisses. "Done," she says. "Transfer complete." David lets out a long, shuddering breath. "We're clear." "Put the token back," Sheila says, "and the keys." David walks back to the study. I hear the safe close. Clank. He returns. He slips the keys back into my pocket. His hand lingers for a second, patting my leg. It isn't affection. It is a check. Still asleep. Good. He didn't move a muscle, David whispers. Good, Sheila says. Let's go upstairs. I'm exhausted. It's over now, babe, David says. They turn off the lights. The room plunges into darkness, save for the streetlight filtering through the sheer curtains. I hear them walk up the stairs. I hear their bedroom door close. I open my eyes. The room is silent, but my mind is loud. It is roaring with the sound of gears turning, of traps snapping shut. They think they cleared the dead. They think they erased the problem. They don't know that my brokerage account has a mirror protocol, something I set up years ago with my old partner, Saul. Every transaction over $10,000 triggers a silent alarm. It creates a digital duplicate of the log. It captures the IP, the geolocation, and the device ID. They moved the money, yes, but they also left a digital fingerprint at the scene of the crime. I stare into the dark. Tomorrow morning, they will sleep in.
They will think the pressure is off. They will dream of Florida condos and debt-free lives. But while they are sleeping, I am going to be working. I am going to use the memory they think I lost to lock them out of their own lives. I close my eyes again, but this time it isn't to feign sleep. It is to plan. Tomorrow is audit day, and the results are going to be catastrophic. The morning sun was a blade of light cutting across the oriental rug, illuminating the dust motes that danced in the silence of a house that had been holding its breath for too long. I had been awake since 5 a.m. I sat in my chair, fully dressed, watching the digital clock on the cable box flip from 10:59 to 11. Upstairs, the house was silent. David and Sheila were still asleep, cocooned in the heavy, satisfied slumber of thieves who believe they have gotten away with the heist. They were probably dreaming of beachfront condos and debt-free ledgers. They didn't know that their alarm clock wasn't going to be a beep, but a demolition. 3 hours earlier, at the shift change, Maria, the night nurse, had come in to check my vitals. She is a good woman. She has 3 kids and a husband who drives a truck. She sees everything in this house. She sees the way David talks over me. She sees the way Sheila forgets to buy my favorite tea. Mr. Sterling, she had whispered, adjusting my blanket. Maria, I said, my voice clear and sharp, shedding the slur I used when David was around. I need you to do something for me. She hesitated, her hand hovering over my wrist. She looked into my eyes. She didn't see the confused old man. She saw the auditor. She saw the man who used to stare down CEOs. She asked. Hand me the tablet, I said, the one Sheila leaves on the charger, and close the door. I need 3 hours of privacy. She nodded. She handed me the device. She closed the heavy oak door until it clicked. For 3 hours, I worked. My fingers were stiff. The arthritis in my knuckles burned with every tap on the glass screen. But my mind was a symphony of precision. I accessed the bank's portal.
I didn't need the RSA token David had stolen last night. I didn't need the phone he had intercepted. 6 months ago, David had left a sheet of paper on my desk. It was a list of emergency override codes he had printed out just in case something happened to me. He thought I wouldn't understand what they were. He thought they were just random numbers to a senile mind.
I had memorized them, every single one. I entered the sequence. The screen flashed green. Access granted. I went straight to the transfer history. There it was. Pending. 00. The destination was a routing number in the Cayman Islands. A shell company. Red Lion Ventures. It was clumsy. It was hasty. It had the fingerprints of a desperate bookie all over it. I didn't try to reverse it. Reversing a wire transfer takes days, sometimes weeks of investigation. David didn't have weeks. He had hours before his legs got broken. And frankly, I didn't want the money back. The $60,000 was the tuition for the lesson I was about to teach. I opened a new tab. I logged into my secure email, the one David didn't know existed. I composed a message to Saul. Saul isn't just my lawyer. He's the man who helped me bury the bodies, figuratively speaking, during the Enron cleanup. He scares the IRS. He scares God a little. Subject: the audit is complete. Body: execute Protocol 0, freeze the trust, revoke all access, initiate the eviction, and send the deputies. I hit send. Then I went to work on the infrastructure of their lives. I logged into the house security system, change admin password. I logged into the credit card portal, the cards David and Sheila carried, the ones attached to my account, the ones they used for groceries, that somehow included golf clubs and spa days. Report lost/stolen. Cancel immediately. I logged into the cellular provider, suspend service, lines 2 and 3. And finally, the coup de grace. I accessed the remaining liquid assets in the primary brokerage account, $3,400,000. The nest egg, the inheritance they were banking on, the golden parachute they thought was strapped to their backs. I set up a new transfer. Recipient: the National Center for Victims of Financial Fraud. Type: irrevocable charitable remainder trust. I confirmed the amount. All funds. I pressed submit. The screen loaded. A spinning wheel of doom. Then a check mark. Transfer successful. The money was gone. Not stolen, not hidden. Donated. It was untouchable. I wiped the browser history. I placed the tablet back on the side table. I sat back and waited. Now, at 11 a.m., I heard the heavy, shuffling footsteps on the stairs. David walked into the living room. He was wearing his bathrobe, scratching his stomach, his hair sticking up in tufts. He looked relaxed. He looked like a man who had slept the sleep of the just, or at least the solvent.
He walked past me to the kitchen. He didn't say hello. He opened the fridge and stared into it. "Morning, Dad," he mumbled, grabbing the milk carton. "I know," I said. My voice was raspy, but it wasn't weak. It was steady. It cut through the hum of the refrigerator like a knife. David stopped. He stood there, the fridge door open, the light spilling on his bare feet. He turned slowly. "You had coffee?" he asked, a frown creasing his forehead. "Yes," I said. "I made a pot, and I changed the Wi-Fi password." David blinked. He laughed, a nervous, confused sound that bubbled up from his throat. "What? Dad, you're confused. The password is the same as it's always been." The password was on the fridge. I corrected him. Just like the password to the brokerage account was Martha's Garden 1965. David went pale. The color drained from his face so fast he looked like a wax figure melting in the heat. The milk carton slipped from his hand. He caught it, fumbling, but didn't put it down. "What?" he whispered. "Because I was listening, David," I said. I leaned forward in my chair. I locked eyes with him. 49201. David dropped the milk. It hit the floor with a heavy thud but didn't burst. He didn't notice. "That was the authentication code you used last night to steal $60,000 from the estate," I said. "Did you think I was deaf?" "Dad, no," he stammered, taking a step toward me. "You don't understand. It was a loan."
Sheila walked in. She was wearing a silk robe, looking groggy, a coffee mug in her hand. She stopped when she saw David's face. "What?" she asked, her voice sharp. "Check your phone, Sheila," I said. She frowned. She pulled her phone from her robe pocket. She tapped the screen. She frowned deeper. "It's not working," she said. "No service." "I cut the family plan," I said. She screeched. "And I canceled the cards," I continued, enjoying the rhythm of the revelation. "You might want to check your email, if you can find a signal. There's a notification from the bank. Insufficient funds is going to be the theme of your day." The realization hit them like a physical blow. The panic set in instantly. David rushed to his laptop, which was sitting on the coffee table where they had left it last night. He opened it. Enter password for Wi-Fi. He typed, incorrect. He typed again, incorrect. "What?" he yelled. Sheila ran to the landline on the kitchen wall. She picked it up. She slammed it down. "Dad, no!" David screamed, turning on me.
His face twisted into the ugly, red mask of a spoiled child who has been told no for the first time. "That's our money! We take care of you! We feed you!" "You take space," I said coldly, "and you take advantage. You thought I was sleeping. You thought I was a vegetable you could harvest whenever you needed cash. But I was an auditor, David." "I just finished the audit," I said. The doorbell rang. It was a sharp, authoritative sound. Ding-dong. David froze. I pointed to the door with my cane. David walked to the door like a man walking to the gallows. He opened it. Saul stood there. He was wearing his three-piece charcoal suit, looking like a shark in pinstripes. Behind him were two sheriff's deputies, their hands resting casually on their belts. "Mr. Sterling," Saul said, looking past David to me. "Saul," I nodded. Saul stepped into the hallway, forcing David to back up. He pulled a folded document from his breast pocket. "The paperwork is filed, Robert," Saul said. "The eviction notice is effective immediately." He handed the paper to David. "You have 24 hours to vacate the premises," Saul said to David. Sheila shrieked, rushing forward. "This is our house!" "It's my house," I said. I stood up. My legs shook, my knees popped, but I stood. I grabbed my cane and planted it firmly on the rug. "I bought it 40 years ago," I said. "I paid the mortgage, I paid the taxes." David cried, tears streaming down his face. "The money, the 60 grand, Tony is going to kill me." "I did help you," I said. "I stopped you from stealing anymore. Now, you can deal with your own debts." I watched as the deputy stepped forward, explaining the terms of the order. I watched Sheila collapse onto the sofa, sobbing about her clothes, her things. I watched David cry, not for me, not for the relationship he had destroyed, but for the money he had lost. I watched their world collapse because they forgot one simple fact. The man in the chair used to catch criminals for a living, and I hadn't lost my touch. "Officer," I said to one of the deputies, "please escort them upstairs to collect their personal effects." "Yes, sir," the deputy said. They were marched up the stairs. I sat back down in my recliner. I picked up my mug. The coffee was still warm. The house was quiet again. No static, no whispers, just the silence of a ledger that had finally been balanced. For the first time in years, I wasn't pretending to sleep. I was wide awake.
And the view was beautiful.